Metro Manila, home to 13 million people. The Philippines' capital is also one of the fastest growing cities in Asia. Today, it's facing an existential threat.
Mga halos isang tao na yung pwedeng abutin ng baha. Pag high tide plus yung sea level rise. Sa Manila, unti-unti na rin. Hindi pa ganun kalalim, siguro mga tuhod hanggang bewang. Pero mukhang unti-unti na siyang aabutin ng pagbaha.
Malaki na ng lamon ng dagat. Malaki na nakain ng dagat. Oo, bahay ito. Hanggang dito yan, bahay yan. Yung simbahan nga dyan, natangay na rin yun eh. Wala na rin.
Manila is now living on borrowed time. Rapid developments and climate change are exerting tremendous pressure on the city. Is the Philippines ready to confront this global challenge? This is Manila, center of finance, education, and the seat of power of the Philippines for many centuries. Manila City was also once regarded as the most densely populated among all cities in the world. Today, it faces a looming threat to its existence, along with the other surrounding cities. Based on satellite images and physical evidence, parts of the megacity are sinking continuously due to rising sea levels, while some of the communities around Manila Bay are already engulfed by water.
So we have two phenomena that are ongoing, and the net effect is to make the coastal areas flooded. And if projected through time, in 100 years from now, there will be a lot of areas that will be flooded.
After the widespread devastation and damage brought by super typhoons in previous years, villages and towns around Manila Bay are being closely monitored. It covers a wide area that stretches to around 2,000 kilometers in length. In 2001, the number of residents living around the Bay Area had already hit a total of about 10 million. Today, the number has increased to more than 13 million people. The city of Manila can be found in the western part of Manila Bay. In the northwest are the cities of Caloocan, Navotas, Malabon, and a number of towns in the province of Bulacan. These places often experience knee-deep to chest-deep floods.
Well, first of all, the Philippines is in a tropical region, and we're along the typhoon belt. So typhoons are generated in the Pacific Ocean. They normally end up crossing the Philippines, or at least the Philippine area of responsibility. The Metro Manila has experienced a lot of rains during the months of August, September, October, as in the deadly rains of Habagat. We call it Habagat.
Projecting to the future, tapos ipinasok natin yung rates ng subsidence, mukhang mas lalalim yung baha kasi nag-iba na yung kulay, mas dark blue na. So mga halos isang tao na yung pwedeng abutin ng baha. Pag high tide plus yung sea level rise. Sa Manila, unti-unti na rin. Hindi pa ganun kalalim, siguro mga tuhod hanggang bewang. Pero mukhang unti-unti na siyang aabutin ng pagbaha. Yung senaryo na to, hindi pa nito sinasama kapag umulan ng napakarami or bumagyo ng napakalakas. Ano pa lang to, sea level rise at isang mataas na high tide. No?
The data shows that this part of coastal Manila Bay has experienced sinking since probably the late 80s, maybe at least. So maybe it's even higher before. we haven't taken into account sea level rise and the effects of climate change. When you talk about climate change, it's not just sea level rise, it's also more intense typhoons. Climatologists and meteorologists are saying that we are going to experience more intense typhoons in the near future, or maybe we are even experiencing it now. Yeah, so we have to be careful in our planning.
In Baseco, Manila, some of the houses are already partially submerged in the bay, while the other half are anchored to the seawall. We chance upon Lisa, who lived in this old dilapidated house on the outskirts of Metro Manila. All these years, Lisa has been trying very hard to make sure that the foundation of the house remains sturdy. But the effort has been quite futile. Her house is facing a real risk of collapsing each time a severe weather condition occurs.
Para ito maipit to sa luna. Kasi ito ang ano eh. Para hindi malipad yung luna. Para ipit na rin ng bahay. Kasi pag hindi ipitan, pag malakas ang hangin, lumulubot yung luna eh. Ako lang din gumagawa yung mga ano ko dati buyan eh. Hindi ko lang siya ginawa kasi ano na eh. Mabulok na yung kawayan. Wala na akong makuha kawayan eh. Bahay namin dati doon. 6 kami, mga kapitbahay ko, 6 na bahay. Ngayon, nung nagkabagyo, natangay ng alon. Ngayon, mga 20 years na rin kami siguro makatagal dyan. Ngayon, lumipat kami rito sa bahay ng biyanan ko. Kasama ko yung 10 anak ko. Dito kami ngayon sa bahay ng biyanan ko. Hindi ko masabi kung matibay ito. Itong kalahati na to, nakapatong lang sa dagat. Yung kalahati, nasa seawall.
Her house got slammed by gigantic waves on numerous occasions, and some of the houses adjacent to hers were even swept away by the strong waves. It appears that the sea is moving closer and closer to their doorstep, ready to swallow them whole.
Halos lahat po, bahay na yan dyan eh. Hanggang dito pa nga yung bahay eh. Kumbaga, malaki na ng lamon ng dagat. Malaki na nakain ng dagat.
Ah, dati bahay to.
Oo, bahay ito. Hanggang dito yan, bahay yan. Yung simbahan nga dyan, natangay na rin yun eh. Wala na rin. Yung may bato na, makikita mo may bato dyan na konti. Simbahan yan dyan eh. Malaki na, kumbaga malawak na nakain ng dagat. Kasi kung tutusin, ito dito, bahay rin to eh. Ito, post ito, laki na ito, pero nabuwal pa rin. Tidring. Ayun kasi kumbaga nadamay-damay lahat ng bahay kasi ito tinali ito. Buong bahay na tinali. Tapos pag-alo, natang yung bahay. Kaya tinalian ng mga tali na to, pati mga bahay. Hindi hiwa-hiwala yung bahay na pagtanggal sa seawall. Dami pati mga bahay na nasama sa mga na to.
In this small makeshift house, Lisa and her husband crammed together with their 10 children.
Ako na bilang ina. Tumutulong ako sa video, okay. Minsan lahat kami doon na rin kumakain. Sanay na rin yung mga anak ko sa amin. Sanay na rin ko sa kung wala makain, okay lang.
Lisa is well aware of the perils of living close to the sea. In fact, one of her children almost drowned after falling off the seawall.
Ito nga yung anak ko na to eh. Hindi ko nga akalain na lalaglag sa dagat yan eh. Kasi nagtutungit kami noon nung nag-aantay kami ng bagyo. Nakikiramdam kami kung lalakas o hindi, ganun. Eh akala ko basura lang na nalaglag sa dagat. Pero may dumaan na, sabi may bata na malalaglag sa dagat, nakakapit sa kawayan. Pagsilip ko, anak ko. Pero na-nervous talaga ako, natanggal ako sa sarili ko na hindi ko malaman kung anong gagawin ko. Pasalamat ako sa kawayan na nakatagilid sa dagat, na nakakapit sa doon nakaganyan. Pero kung sa isang oras na tagal doon, siguro patay na yung anak ko kung walang nakawain. Magas kawain ang sumagip sa kanya.
The reality is, the annual rise of seawater level in Manila Bay is 4 times faster than the global average rate.
You look at the global average, it's pegged at 3.2 millimeters per year. That's the global average. For the country, it varies, it's diverse. The most notable one is, of course, Manila Bay. It's already being, it's accepted. So we have 13.2 millimeters per year up to 2018. 2 points there. So it's probably the ground subsidence or the climate change. So I think the global average 3.2. It's the collective amount, the collective rate.
In the northwest side of Manila Bay, a community in the middle of the river used to have houses made of and standing on concrete. Their church, a school, fish ponds, and salt beds are either completely gone or mostly submerged.
Ang kalsada namin hanggang doon sa may ano na yun, tsaka hanggang din. Eh ngayon, ito na nangyari sa amin, may tubig na. 100 bahay kami dito. Eh ngayon, buat nung nagkaroon kami ng tubig, 40 bahay na lang. Mahirap din sa amin, para sa amin, mahirap na meron kaming tubig. Kasi dati, wala kami ditong, nung wala kaming tubig, yung aming kinabubuhay na sa pispan, eh, nangangapa-ngapa lang. Eh ngayon, mahirap na pagka malaki tubig para sa mga mister namin na nangangapa.
May mahirap po ba sa nagbago sa buhay niyo nung kayo?
Meron, mahirap. Mahirap dito pagkabagyuhan na. Yun ang mahirap dito.
Nakakaganyan kayo?
Hindi namin nakakaganto kasi malaki na alon dito. Wala, hintay mo munang umalis yung bagyo bago ka Ngayon nasa iyo na yung kikitain mo kung gaano ka kasipag lumusong sa tubig Tsaka may tsambahan nga, may magandang kita pagka yung maganda pang uhuli.
Meanwhile, many families like Lisa's have very few options left. She can't afford to pay rent or move to a higher ground and rebuild their lives all over again. Their future appears uncertain for now. This amid fears of an imminent collapse of their house one day when nature wreaks havoc yet again.
Ginagawa ko, pag may natatangay na kahoy sa dagat, kinukuha ko pag maganda pa, yun ang inaayos ko rito para tumibay-tibay pa kahit paano. Hindi wala rin naman ako natatanggap na tulong kahit ano, basta sariling gawa ko lang to. Sariling bukpo, kahit itanong nyo pa sa kapitbahay ko, ako lang talaga gumagawa nito.
What will become of Lisa and many other families like her? How much longer can they put up with the forces of Mother Nature? In the northwest side of Manila Bay, 17 kilometers away from Manila, lies Sitio Pariahan in the province of Bulacan. Only about 20 years ago, there were about 100 houses that stood on concrete land. Today, a community is living in the middle of a river. Water has also engulfed an area where a community church once stood. Salt beds that provided income for the people have all disappeared, destroyed by the marauding waves. Even the streets and levees where people used to walk on are now completely gone. It was here in Sitio Pariahan that the couple, Saturnino and Benedicta Espiritu, built a home and a family. They were already here when the levees were still visible and the land could still be walked on.
Ay normal pa dati, maganda pa dati dito. Ano pa yan eh, malalakad mo talaga. Yung mga halaman dyan, maraming may halaman pa dyan sa paligid na yan. Saka maayos pa bahay.
Saka pag fiesta, Dinadayo kami dito pag piyesta nung hindi pa kami lubog. May karsada pa dyan. Dinadayo kami dito ng mga tigay Maynila. Tapos may mosiko kami. Tapos habang may mosiko kami, kami ng yan.
Nagsasayawan dyan sa...
Sa kalsada na yan, hanggang doon sa malayo. Inaano namin yung aming patron.
Ay, hindi ho. Hindi namin inaasahan ito maging gaganto. Ano yan eh, ang mga pilabil dyan, ang lalaki. Talagang hindi kayang anuhin. Yung bagyo-bagyo lang, hindi kayang gibain. Breakwater doon sa dagat, sumabog. Kaya dumiridiretso na rito. Ng tubig.
It was in the year 2000 when they noticed the gradual sinking of their grounds.
Ay, nung dati, yung may karsada kami dyan, hanggang doon sa dulot-dulo. May punduhan kami ng bangka rito. Tapos, may eskwelahan kami dyan hanggang grade 6. Ayan, doon naman sa kabila, punduhan din yun. Karsada yan na, yung talaga karsada.
Hanggang dito.
Oo, hanggang dyan. Ito, asinan ho to. Karamihan ng bahay na yan, may mga flooring yan, mababa. Sa talaga. Nung bumagyo sa kayong ayan, ganyan na. Tumaas na. Dati may mga kanya-kanya CR din yan na talagang baul. Ngayon wala na, sa na lang talaga.
This is a picture of an interior part of the church. This is how the church looks like now. Half of it is already submerged underwater.
Nung araw dito nakakaupo, may mga upuan. Ngayon hindi na talaga makakaupo. Hindi ka na mautusan ng pare na lumuhod kayo, umupo kayo. Lagi na lang nakatayo, may tubig na kasi. Ang simba rito sa amin, puro nasa bangka na lang. Sinasabi nila, bumababaw daw yung yung tubig. Ay, bumabaon. Ito ho yung pinaka-flooring niya. Ay ngayon yung tubig, pag yung bintana na yan, inaabot yan. Minsan hanggang altar na yan umaano na Tinatamaan na ng alon. Tinutubuan na nga ng talaba yung namin, simba.
Even the elementary schools stopped operations because of the rise in water levels. The typhoon destroyed the building as well.
Itong school na to, nung isinara to, nung lumubog na yung ng feed ring, yung bagyo, talagang na siya, hindi na mapasukan ng estudyante. Isinara tong elementary school nung 2012. Ngayon, ang mga estudyante sa taliptip na lang nag-aaral, mga araw-araw nagko-commute na lang sila ay malayo din mga kalahating oras. Yung mga anak ko dito pa rin nag-aaral yun Saka maraming nag-aaral diyan, pati yung mga nasa dagat na sa mga squatter doon, dagat. Diyan pa rin nag-aaral.
Ito yung bibo ng anak ko na nag-18, dito yun. Dito sa malawak na to. Pero ngayon, ng tubig.
These changes made a huge impact on the lives of the residents. Fish ponds and salt farms are now closed. Meanwhile, the expenses of families doubled after the levees and streets sank. Now, from 100 families, only 40 remained and never left.
Abot ng 1,000. Kasi 5 araw pasok, di ba? 1,000 yan. Dati, lang 20 pesos lang, yan lang. Maglalakad lang sila, di ba? Yung isa ko, grade 6 Tapos yung isa ko, grade 2 lang. Yung kapatid na asawa ko, meron din estudyante. Nakasabay ko na lang doon. Hati na lang sila sa gasolina.
Tapos naghahantay pa yung bangkero?
Hindi. Tapos, uuwi na dito, tapos mamayang hapon na lang ulit ang sundo. Mga alas 4, ganyan, alas 5. Doon lang nauwilat yung gasa, Kung gusto lumipat, kaya lang mahirap lang yung hanap buhay. Kasi dito hanap buhay namin. Kasi lilipat ka nga doon, maganda nga katayuan mo, yung hanap buhay naman, paano? Dito kami natuto maghanap buhay.
The province of Bulacan is among the places where rapid land subsidence was detected. The land here sinks at a rate of around 4 to 6 centimeters a year.
Kumbaga, mga hindi pa direktang ebidensya yung nakikita natin dun sa parehahan. Yung kumbaga yung makakapagpaliwanag kung bakit sila binabaha nun. Pero so far, ang tingin namin doon halo-halong factors kung bakit sila permanenteng binabaha. So meron ka ng factor na ang main na tingin namin na dahilan ay lumulubog yung lupa. Tapos sinamahan mo ng pagtaas ng tubig, yung sea level rise. So tapos nawala yung mga mangrove forest mo, nawala yung mga natural mo na protection doon sa area. Kaya nagtuloy-tuloy na yung tubig papasok doon sa kanilang komunidad.
What occurs in Sitio Nabong, in the village of Sulao, in the town of Kalumpit, is not so different from the situation in Sitio Pariahan. What used to be a vast rice field and plains now seem like a fish pond due to the sinking of an almost 2-kilometer street that connects this place to its adjacent barangays. We were accompanied by village officers Billy Tolentino and Joy Cortez as we roamed around the area.
Mababa pa po yan. Hanggang dibdib po yan, yung kasada. Kapag malaking-malaki yung baha talaga. Malakas ang ulan. Yan. Lalo na po, pag bumababa yung tubig dito sa bandang Nuevesia, Pampanga, dito yung tungol. Para ho kasi balon yung kuha namin dito. Itong aming lugar na ito. Dati po ito, napakagandang bahay. Ito, yung mga nakalubog na yan, magaganda yung mga nakatira riyan. Dahil po nga sa baha na yan nating mga kalamidad na nangyayari, nagsiyaliso sila. Pumunta sa pumunta sa mga matataas na lugar. Kanya iniwanan nila hanggang nagkasira-sira po yung kanilang pamamahay.
Dati po kaming nakatira dito sa lugar na to, sa compound na to, na kung saan pag-aari po namin ito. At sa ngayon, kung makikita po ninyo, yung nangyari po sa aming mga tahanan. Kaya kami po lumipat na doon sa bandang itaas. Hindi po, wala rin po bibili dahil nakalubog po siya sa tubig. Wala pong value. Kung ibebenta mo, may bibili po niyan, pero walang value.
Despite the fact that the village here is fast disappearing, more than 900 people have chosen to stay put.
Nakikita nyo naman po, yung mga talagang naiwan diyan. Mga kahit nakalubog, talagang nagtsatsaga na po sila ng patong-patong sa papag.
Araw-araw po nagbabangka. Maaga po gigising para hindi po malate. Kasi po, halos 15 to 20 minutes po namin tinatravel papuntang eskwelahan. Yung yung ngawit po sa pagbabangka, yun po yung halos araw-araw na po namin pinagdadaanan. Tsaka kalyo na rin po sa kamay habang nagsasagwan. May mga time po kapag umuulan.
Manuel used to be a rice farmer and tricycle driver. But when the dryland got flooded, he was forced to stop and try fishing instead. But what bothers him now is that the mixture of flood water, salt water, and brackish water have now become home to fishes which are alien to this area.
Ay, talapia, pagalitan na ng Eliapis eh. Lulubog yung bahay. Oo. Buti na, nakabili kami ng bangka. Kung hindi nakabili ng bangka, maglalakad ka. O manghihiram ka ng bangka sa kapitbahay, natural lang, kakabahan ka. Kung biglang laki ang tubig. Kasi hindi mo masabing ganyan lang ang tubig eh. Medyo minsan lalaki pa rin. Lulubog na naman ka na eh. Saan matutulog?
According to Manuel, Nabong started subsiding after Mount Pinatubo erupted in June 1991. The region's landscape also changed drastically, especially the natural waterways.
Noon kasi, kaya nagkaganito lang yan, pumutok ang Pinatubo. Naloko pati yung, ito, tataniman namin ng gulay eh. Ngayon, hindi na pwede.
Ano mga tanim niyo dyan? Meron din ho
Singkamas.
sakahan?
Oo, saka meron dyan ha. At kabila niya, saka na. Saka na.
Ano pa po mga tinatanim niyo?
Nakakapagpalay kami. Ngayon, nung pumutok ang Pinatubo, hindi na. Wala na, ang isda na lang, hanap buhay.
After the eruption of Mount Pinatubo and the subsequent lahars that affected Central Luzon, it drastically changed the landscape of the region, such that the flow of the streams, flow of the rivers were also changed. So consequently, the flooding patterns were also changed. So that could be that's plausible. That's a plausible explanation for the change that they experienced.
What caused the rapid sinking of the grounds in Metro Manila and the neighboring province?
Some of them, they have permit. Some of them, they don't have.
The area in Pariahan, around 17 kilometers north of Manila, was once a thriving fishing and farming zone. Today, all the salt farms, fish ponds and rice paddies are nowhere to be found. Hundreds of families living in the region have lost their main livelihoods after it went underwater.
Talagang nakakahina ng dahil dati konkreto, ngayon para kaming badyaw talaga na pag bumaba kami wala nang lupa, sa bangka na lang talaga.
Sakay ng bangka, gasolina, 150, baon ng mga bata. Tapos susundin mo naman rin, pabalik pa ulit pa itong bahay. Kaya mahirap, minsan maalon.
The areas outside of Manila are also experiencing land subsidence, or a sudden sinking of the Earth's surface, as shown in these satellite images.
Yung nasukat natin na rates ng subsidence sa Manila City at sa Kalumpit, halos pareho yung nila, mga 2 centimeters per year mula 2003 hanggang 2011. Ang land subsidence, normal siya na proseso. No? Lumalala lang siya kapag merong mga ginagawa tayo sa kumbaga may mga man-made na activities na nagpapalala sa case natin dito medyo 4 to 6 centimeters per year ang bilis ng paglubog ng lupa.
A simulation shows that areas in Malabon, Navotas and Manila would be sunken 2 meters deep, or about 6.5 feet, 40 years from now, or by the year 2060. In the year 2110, the ground could sink by as much as 4 to 10 meters, or between 13 to 32 feet. While land subsidence is happening on a large scale, Manila Bay is experiencing an accelerated rate at 13.4 millimeters, 4 times faster than the global average. The trend started to peak in the 60s at the height of industrialization.
So why the sudden increase from the 60s, the sudden increase in the rate of rise in the record of the tide gauges? And I think that's related with population growth. So the more the population increases or grows, then there's more need for water, because all people need water. And if there's no supply of water, of surface water, then they would need to get it from the ground, which is fresh water as well.
Scientists say that the phenomenon was made worse by excessive groundwater extraction. The effects of this are irreversible. Once water is extracted from the ground, it cannot be filled back due to the lack of waterways. Renowned urban planner, architect June Palafox Jr. was part of the team that drafted the World Bank-funded plan for Metro Manila in the 1970s. They proposed an encompassing design that could have eased the crowded capital and balanced the effects of development.
In the 70s, there were more serious urban planning than infrastructure planning, but there was lack of continuity. There was good planning, but there was no implementation or updating those plans. Even the water crisis, it was addressed in the mid-70s, identifying different sources of water supply. We lost a lot of opportunities because the Metro Plan Manila in the 70s were as good as the plans for Hong Kong, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, and some of our Asian neighbors. And so we are now in a catch-up situation.
Ultimately, an uncontrolled population growth, rapid urbanization have led to an oversight on what needed to be done and raised issues of whether the existing laws and regulations were implemented well. That happened even after a moratorium on groundwater extraction was imposed a long time ago. Continuous conversion of land in the metro and the countryside, as well as the growth of agricultural, fisheries and commercial industries use large volumes of water, and that have put tremendous pressure on the available groundwater resources.
Some of them, they have permits, some of them they don't have. Yes, that's the problem. That's what I'm telling you. The problem is regulation of all these water extractors. So we don't have the data on those illegal extractors. Even in Metro Manila, of course, because we did not provide already water permits, so some of those we cannot monitor, so they start digging on their own.
When you develop in wanton fashion, and all places are already occupied because of the growing population, because of the poor planning, then disaster strikes.
In a crowded megacity such as Metro Manila, another perennial problem was that estuaries and creeks were either turned into concrete buildings or filled with heaps of garbage. Pumping stations like these were made to eliminate garbage that clogged up the waterways, to offset the adverse effects of flooding, and also to protect and rehabilitate Manila Bay. Here in Tripa di Galina pumping station, the garbage being collected in a day can literally fill up a mountain. In some instances, the machine would just break down because of too much trash.
Isa man dito ay masira o mag-bog down dahil sa garbage, siyempre magkakaroon ng ma-experience natin yung pagbaha, no? Worse na pagbaha, lalo na pag malakas ang ulan.
And when trash was unfiltered because of high volume or mechanical sorting problems, they make their way to Manila Bay. This worsened siltation in the sea. It also added to the rapid increase of seawater level in the area.
There is a social rationale for, or a social explanation on why these kinds of problems, and sometimes garbage is really one of them. So now, parang garbage field talaga yung Manila Bay natin.
In the coming months, Liza's family will eventually need to leave their house on the Baseco coastline. Imminent uprooting from their home is part of the government's citywide Manila Bay rehabilitation plans.
Kung maalis man kami rito sa dulo, dito pa rin kami sa Baseco. Pero hiling-hiling namin sa Pangulo na dito pa rin kami sa Baseco. Kahit saan kami sulok ng Baseco, basta dito pa rin. Ayaw namin umalis dito. dito na rin nakasanayan namin hanap, baga, dito na rin kami nagkaroon ng anak, nagkaroon ng ano, parang experience na rin namin to eh. Basiko na to, hindi na namin maiwala yan ba. Kahit anong mangyari, dito na kami.
Hindi po kami tumututol sa proyekto ninyo ng gobyerno. Nakikiisa naman po kami. Nga lang po talaga, gusto rin po namin na kami naman po ay mailagay sa tama. Na ang gusto po namin ay kung magkakaroon po kami ng relocation, sa loob lang din po ng Baseco. Kasi andito po lahat, paaralan, lahat po ng kabuhayan, andito po yung kabuhayan namin. Dito na po kami lumaki, sinilang at nagkaanak at nagkaasawa na rin po.
What's the future that awaits Metro Manila? Where would residents of the already half-sunken communities go? Is the Philippines ready to confront this global threat? The rise in global sea levels over the past century has posed a growing threat to the densely populated regions of Southeast Asia. People living in the coastal areas are particularly vulnerable to storm surges, coastal erosion, and flooding. Many slum dwellers are now living on the edge and in fear that the sea may one day claim and swallow their homes and their livelihoods. Still, given a choice, Benedicta and her family would never want to leave their home here in Pariahan.
Habang nagkukwento ko, naalala ko, huwag kami paasin. Yun lang ano namin kasi. Naalala namin yung nakaraan dati namin ganun, tapos ngayon, mawawala na kami kung sakasakali. Kaya ako napapaiyak.
The governor of the province of Bulacan, however, is determined to move them to safer grounds.
Tinanong ko na sila. And they're willing naman lumipat. Because takot din sila pagdating ng bagyo eh. Takot din sila. O like you said, okay, na-adapt na lugar na yan. Bago mo sila ilipat, dapat may livelihood na. Tuturuan mo sila. Lahat naman yung napag-aaralan. Lahat ay natututunan. Nung tinanong ko sila, willing naman silang lumipat. Yung lahat ng ilog, kailangan i-dredge mabuti. Kasi, pagdating naman ng tag-ulan, ang kalaban naman natin dyan, although wala na yung dagat, yung tubig dagat, yung tubig ulan naman, na manggagaling sa taas. So, kinakailangan, makakawala agad ng mabilis yun. Kung mababaw ang ilog mo, at dumating ang malakas na tubig na galing sa taas, abay flooding yan, siyempre. Kinakailangan laliman yung pagdadaanan ng tubig na manggagaling sa bundok ng San Jose del Monte. Yes, sa bundok ng Nueva Ecija at bandang Tarlac, and then of course, yung sa may Candaba. Kailangan dahil sila dyan.
Meanwhile, in the inundated community of Nabong, in Mesulao, Bulacan, the locals dream of seeing construction of new roads in the area. It has been 20 years since they last stepped on concrete pavements of their neighborhood.
Sana yung karsada sa magawa. Yun lang. Mga pamasada, kakaroon ko konting hanap buhay. Kita. Ba, matagal na rin. Meron siguro ng 20 years. Meron ng 20 years. Noon, nakakapamasada kami dyan. Mula nung pumutok nga Pinatubo, hindi na. Kaya naggarahe na yung mga motor. Yung iba, naroon, inuwalan doon sa karsadang nakalitaw.
Unfortunately, this is not what the local government has in mind. With the continuous rise in sea levels, it maintains that the construction of major roads may not serve its purpose.
Bukod sa pagitaas ng kalsada, pag nataasan mo, tataas ng tubig dyan, seawall. Yun dapat ang pag-aralan ng gobyerno ngayon. Yun, tama yung coastal road ngayon. Seawall na coastal road na magiging seawall. Yun ang dapat yan. Para maproteksyon ng lahat yan.
Nakikita mo ba na po-foresee ba mo na maging ganito rin yung ibang places
Yes.
na under yung ano?
Yes. Pag hindi nagbigay na ng solusyon na magkaroon ng seawall. Yes. Talagang gaganyan din na yung malulat. Dahil hindi naman mapipigilan yung pagtaas ng dagat eh. Hindi na kaya pigilan yan.
Oo, pati yung galing dun sa likod,
Yes.
ano arayan?
Oo. Hindi naman susunod yun. Na mabawasan yung pagtaas ng dagat.
Rising sea levels resulting from climate change could soon make coastal towns near Manila completely unlivable. Some areas in Bulacan, especially the coastal towns, for example, have already experienced a land subsidence of up to 4 centimeters a year.
It's everybody's problem, and we need to be able to bring the message down to the household level, because the conventional wisdom would probably say that, you know, I'm an individual, what can I do to battle the effects of climate change? But if we put all together those small efforts, it should amount to something. And there should be a snowballing of efforts and actions, adaptation is most specifically, so that we can combat the effects of climate change.
More than 4,500 flood control projects are reported to have been completed since President Rodrigo Duterte took over the helm of the country almost 4 years ago. The total budget allocated for these projects is equivalent to about 7.3% of the country's GDP. Architect June Palafox believes that in the long run, reducing the urban density and congestion in cities like Manila is the way forward. He suggests relocating government offices to the countryside and revolutionizing architectural concepts that adapt to the phenomenon of rising water levels to be part of the solution.
We should really do regional development and national development. In fact, by developing more rapidly other urban growth centers like Metro Davao, Metro Cebu, maybe Metro Ilocos, Metro Batangas, you reduce the attractiveness of the primacy of Metro Manila. Even the National Governance Center, executive branch of government, maybe even the judiciary, the legislative, maybe we should start looking at a new capital region outside Metro Manila, and that would reduce the attractiveness of Metro Manila, alleviate traffic, lack of housing, and many of the urban ills that by developing the regions and other areas, including relocating the seat of national government. We build the houses above the flood lines, and when there are no floods, you can use the lower ground. And like this one also, you build the houses on stilts above the flood lines in the future. And even this condominium, you let the ground floor open, and there's flood, you just let the floods go underneath the building. Yeah, this is actually for a proposal for Tondo, Smoky Mountain, for socialized housing for the poor, wherein it's not just addressing flooding, but vertical vegetable gardens. They can raise vegetables here, like ampalaya and tomatoes and so on. So, and the ground floor, when there's no flooding, it can be an activity area for children.
Several decades ago, there was a move to get government offices away from the city of Manila, and that is Quezon City. But since then, the population has grown. The development has grown as well. From the north to the south of Metro Manila, it is very much crowded. That is what I say when it's overwhelming, then it's very hard to manage. Kuala Lumpur, they moved the government offices to Putrajaya, and it relieved some pressure to Kuala Lumpur. At that time when the government offices were moved to Quezon City, there was some kind of relief as well. But we have come to a point, after several decades, that I think there's also a need to move the government offices elsewhere. Because the population of Metro Manila is extremely large and the hazards are overwhelming.
In Baseco, Manila, when some homes are directly anchored on the sea wall of Manila Bay, Lisa and her family are prepared to move out. But they're still uncertain where and when their relocation will take place, if at all.
Nalungkot din ako, pero wala pa nang sagutan yung mga tanong namin. Pero wag lang kami mawala ng pag-asa. Baka meron ding kasagutan ng lahat ng ano namin. Pangarap ko na magkaroon ng bahay, yung meron kaming masisilungan na hindi na kami magano na may mangyari sa amin, matatangay ng bagyo. Yung safe kami lahat, safe pati yung mga anak ko, gano'n. Malungkot talaga kasi basta ang sa isip ko lang, wag lang ako mawala ng pag-asa. Yun lang. Kung para sa amin talaga yun. Parating yun para sa amin. Yun lang talaga.
Climate change has led to damaging effects to the city landscape and the people living here in these fragile regions of Manila. Ample scientific evidence has suggested that in about 3 decades from now, the Philippines could find many of its coastal regions, as well as those surrounding Manila Bay, underwater if countries fail to mitigate the effects of climate change. Has the country and the government done enough to soften the impact? Are they well prepared to confront these global challenges and survive in the face of such a looming disaster?